everything. What is it? That Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning. I think that's what it's called. I tried that tonight. It's so garlicky.
You're gonna have a buzz ball?
I've been having it. I need one because I'm going straight to bed after this. I'm so sleep deprived.
You're gonna be bushed. Abraham? My man.
Are we or are we not going to try to shoot tomorrow?
I don't know, man. Is it gonna rain like it?
No, it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow.
Hello, Christina, Tiffany, Jennifer, Hector.
Hello, everybody.
Jacob. Tell you what, the dudes, I mean, they are in on time. Hello, Lisa. They come into the live studio audience on time.
Tomorrow is sunny and 71, and then Friday is sunny and 76. But if you can do it Friday, that's fine. If you'd rather do that instead of being rushed, you can work on the rest of the editing tomorrow.
Hello, Miss Vero, Becky.
Hey, y'all.
Michael.
Hey, y'all.
Molly.
Hola.
Christina.
Hey, Odessa.
Adri.
Hey,
Angie.
Michael, thank you for always being here.
Lisa K. Kelly.
Get it done.
We're packing the
Wasabi.
house. Sunny.
I walked in this sweater tonight now and I said, "What's up, Kermit?" So I'll let you know that I think, this is like an acid green, and my daughter picked this out for me at a boutique, and I bought it, and I kind of dig it.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Sorry, I took a color risk.
On the other side.
Michael, I was at a happy hour.
Hello,
Thanks,
Michelle.
Christina.
Allison.
Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Chase and Amy. Andrea.
You're at happy hour working on your social life. Well, Michael, you're not working really hard on your social life if you are tuned into a Sandwiches and Lovin. That means you're not talking to people.
Oh.
Thank you. Angie loves this sweater.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said, what's
when
up,
you start singing Kermit the Frog to me and you call me Kermit, that implies you don't love it. Put on your mushroom pants for that sweater. Alan won't be able to contain himself. That's true. You're a long-time listener.
Well, where are those mushrooms?
I got them from a swap party and I got rid of them because you ruined them for me.
Well, it's because they were mushroom. What EK and Me jacket was the hardest to sell out of?
That one's fun. We still
Actually, the fuchsia, yeah.
We still got 2 smalls and 1 large left in the fuchsia. If anybody wants one.
Hashtag ad. All right, guys.
Fuchsia's a color that you have to be bold, and wear it.
Is it a winter color?
I'll keep the large if, I'm happy to keep the large.
Ugh.
Pink is a good transitional color for spring, and it's still kind of chilly some nights. Right now, it's rainy and cold in Plano, Texas.
We ain't recording anything without power.
Christina says it's a regularly scheduled day.
Yeah, it is.
Michael must have stopped paying attention. I told him to get back to happy hour because he hasn't commented since.
Yeah, he's multitasking.
Is it Stacey the Queen? Stacey? Is that how you pronounce that? Stacey, like Caesar, Stacey? Cesar? Got a lot or nothing to get to, but we're going to do it together.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
I could tell, hey, guys. Hello, hand.
Ready? Did you pull some letters? Alan's got a letter.
I mean, I've got a little bit. I mean,
that's a lot.
If you're able to stretch this
out.
That's
a lot.
Oh, wait a second. It's only one or twice.
Ready?
Yeah.
Well, I can't see far. I have to look. What are you laughing at? Tara Nut Smash? Let's Tara Nut Smash.
That's classic. I've done that one before, but that's an oldie.
Don't get that one. Tara Nut Smash. Tara Nuts Mass.
I'll do it. Give me a little sound check. Give me a sound check.
Tara Nuts Mass.
Please pick up the red courtesy phone. Tara Tearing up some ass. Please pick up the red courtesy
up.
phone.
Okay, I get it. Now.
Tearing up some ass.
Test. Okay. Thank you for that vulgar.
And you said it.
Idsenal.
And you didn't mask your voice either. So I can take that clip.
But you won't.
And put a drop on this thing, and I can have Kelly Raspberry Evans saying, tearing up some ass, tearing up some ass, tearing up some ass.
But you won't.
But I will. That's one of my to-dos, is to do things like that.
Stop aggravating me.
And you never change your voice.
I don't change my voice. I'm very proud of everything I say.
You tried to do it one time. Try to do it. Try to change your voice. Just say like,
why do you do like this when you do it? No, it's ridiculous. All right. Come on.
Oh, God. It brings me such joy.
I'm glad.
Babe. Okay, ready? Let's see here. I think I got everything.
What'd you just do?
Okay, ready? There we go.
Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
You're pressing buttons and there's triangles with exclamation points going off?
It's working.
Let's hope for the best. Hello. Welcome to another episode of a Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I'm not so sure we're recording because there was a big triangle with an exclamation point a minute ago. But I am Kelly Raspberry Evans. This is my husband and co-host and technical engineer.
Hello, Alan. Hey, Train in the house.
He's back. He's back.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
I truly hope you pop a vein in your neck.
And what's on the other side? Okay,
I'm wearing a green sweater. It is an acid green sweater.
It's a green that I don't think I've ever seen in this world before.
Apparently you have on Kermit the Frog. Because my daughter picked this out for me. It was on sale 75% off.
Oh, really?
It was the last one because they'd sold everything else. When you get down to one left, you usually mark them way down. Mm-hmm. Do you not like it?
No, no. It's not that I don't like it. It's just it's a striking color when I'm used to seeing you always in blacks, grays, blacks and grays and black. And then
when I take a risk and wear color, you mock me by singing Sesame Street theme songs or whatever, happy tunes.
It's not Sesame Street.
Kermit's from Sesame Street.
Yeah, but that's not the Sesame Street theme.
I know. It's all one.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Well, anyway, it just reminded me of, I don't know, it's pretty. You look nice in everything.
Why would I want to wear something where you're going to burst into Kermit the Frog theme songs when I walk in the room? That's the first thing he said when I came home. I hadn't seen him all day. He's been one way, I've been the other. And I finally walked in the door. I believe it was 7:30. I hadn't seen him all day. Uh-huh. First thing he says is, "Hey, Kermit." That's my lovely.
Didn't say, "Hey, Kermit."
Hey, Kermit. What's up? Oh, it was, "What's up, Kermit?"
I said, "What's up, Kermit?"
What's up, Kermit? That's what I get.
Hey, but you make everything look beautiful. Remember the one time, I don't do this very often, but the one time you had the mushroom colored pants on?
You hated those pants. I got them at a swap party.
I didn't hate those pants.
You hated them.
They were just an odd color.
You hated them. If you're not familiar with the swap party, it's not what you think. I know we talk about swinging a lot on this podcast. Not that we participate, but a swap party is where my girlfriends and I get together. I launched this several years ago to swap our children's clothing because you can't get anything for them at consignment. And then it evolved to us swapping clothing amongst ourselves and household goods. And it's like having a garage sale where no money's exchanged. We all just swap stuff. And then the rest is donated to charity. We choose Operation Once in a Lifetime. Look it up. It's a great charity. Operation Once in a Lifetime. There's a million great charities, but that's one we support. They grant wishes for members of the military and their families. But yeah, I got those mushroom pants for free. Didn't cost me nothing. And I wore them. And the shirt I wore too. We went on a date afternoon when Alan and I used to have a lot of free time before we started 15 side hustles. Mm-hmm. And Alan made fun of my mushroom pants the whole afternoon. I got rid of them after that.
I remember you and I, well, it was funny because you and I guess we told the story a long time ago, but we went out to like a patio to eat, and you had on the mushroom pants.
Baby, that's what I'm just talking about.
Is that what you just said?
Afternoon. Do you just not listen to me when I do this podcast?
I was. I didn't comprehend.
I literally just said.
No, but I'm about to add something to
when we went on afternoon dates before we had 15 side hustles.
But I remember us.
I was wearing those pants and a blouse.
You do what? But I remember us sitting on a patio, and you also had on, with the mushroom pants, a black shirt with gold metallic ice cream cones
that I got from the swap party.
And then I was wearing a Canadian tuxedo.
Denim on denim.
I was on denim. The only thing I was missing was the denim cowboy hat.
I'll be honest, it wasn't a great look for me.
I'll be honest. It wasn't a great look for me either.
But you know what? It was free because I got it from the swap party. I took a risk on it, and it went back into the swap next time.
So where did the Kermit sweater come from?
This came from a little boutique. My daughter, one of her girlfriends.
Can I look at the label?
Sure. It's one of the boutiques we go probably shopping for, but there's a little boutique. My daughter's friend went there. She goes, Mommy, I want to go. Okay. My daughter's finally getting into shopping. I'm so excited. So we went, and they had a big sales rack right there, on the sidewalk, 75% off clearance. And I'm like, that's my jam. So I went and I pulled several things, and my daughter liked this on me.
Is it comfortable?
It's very comfortable. What's not comfortable about it? It's nubby.
Yeah,
it's a nubby sweater.
It looks like it has pills all over it.
But it's not heavy. Mm-hmm. So it's not like for when it's 20 degrees outside, but it's perfect for
it's real
tonight.
Thin.
Right. But it's still warm enough.
How about that?
Anyway.
Okay.
I wanted my daughter to have some say-so. I want to validate her.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I was like, I probably wouldn't have bought it normally, but she loved it on me. Green typically looks good on redheads.
You look great.
I went for it.
You look great in colors, which is why I like you in colors.
But not this one.
Well, when you came walking in the room, it was shocking.
What up, Kermit?
I was like, what's up, Kermit?
All right. Well,
there's
that.
I think it's pretty. I think you should keep it. I don't think you should get rid of that. I was in favor of you getting rid of the mushroom pants.
I did.
And you did. This has only happened a few times where I'm in favor of you getting rid of an item of your clothing. The other was a cap that was made of straw, like some kind of fur.
I loved that hat.
And it had a bronze longhorn on it or something.
We went to wine country. I don't want to go back and do that again. You went hog hunting with the guys. I went to wine country. Well, not wine country. Well, Texas wine country, Fredericksburg, right? And they had these baseball caps at one of the gift shops because Fredericksburg shuts down at like 6 p.m. But there was a gift shop open, and it was a baseball cap that was, like you said, like
that's what I just said.
I'm just saying.
Were you listening?
I'm describing it.
Were you listening?
I'm like you. I am listening, and I'm adding to it. You are.
Which is exactly.
You started with Kermit, and you're just digressing.
Are you joking? That's what Kelly tells me. Are you joking?
I can't tell sometimes when he's pissed. So it was straw in the back, and it had like cow hide or something on it. Fade. I'm giving it a little bit more embellishment.
Okay.
And then it had a metal iron longhorn in the front.
Right.
And I looked good in that hat. It was a cool hat. But Alan hated that hat so much. And I think we had some sort of competition where I allowed you to get rid of one piece of something in my closet.
That hat.
And he chose the hat.
What'd you get rid of mine? You got rid of something.
Probably a gray t-shirt because you have 500. That's why you don't miss it.
I like gray. I like gray t-shirts.
You have 500 of them.
That's what I do.
We'll get to that in a minute. But hey, listen, you know what? When I'm not arguing with my husband or recording a podcast or working on the radio or trying to figure out what we're doing with Emma Kelly and me, sometimes my brain needs a break. And that's why I choose to give my brain a little rest, a little break from reality with Best Fiends.
Oh, yes. Best Fiends.
Yes. It's a fun puzzle game.
Yes.
An oasis of fun.
It is.
You can take with you everywhere. You can play with others. You can grab some me time. I prefer to grab the me time.
Get it, babe.
I don't feel like necessarily comparing myself to others. I just want to do me.
Mm-hmm.
And with Best Fiends, that's exactly what I do. There are thousands of fun challenges, lots of cute characters to collect along the way. The game does get more challenging as you go along, but sometimes I get it level, I just clear it off right off the bat. Sometimes it takes me a few tries to get past a level, which makes it more fun. If it was so easy, what's the fun of doing that? You want it to be a little bit of a challenge, have some strategy. Right now, tonight, before we even started the podcast, logged in for a minute, got past level 625 and 626.
Killing them slugs?
Well, I was going to try to conquer 627, but I didn't do it the first try. So I got to go back and rethink my strategy.
Okay.
But it's fun. And the thing I love also about Best Fiends is like if you're traveling, if you're on the airplane or something, and they don't have, not every airplane has movies. You can play Best Fiends without internet and Wi-Fi connection, which is great. And I play it when I'm running carpool lines. I just love Best Fiends. I'm up to the 627 level. Check me out.
You're at 627?
Mm-hmm.
You're about 615 ahead of me. Best Fiends has thousands of levels already with new levels, events, and characters added every month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips, and you can even play offline. And with 100 million downloads, over 100 million downloads, and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must-play. You can download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R. Best Fiends.
You're the best, babe.
We love Best Fiends.
You do. Some of us more than others.
Kill them slugs.
All right, Alan. Am I being, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Am I being too flippant, I guess? Too nonchalant about the coronavirus?
I mean,
it has become a topic of everyday conversation.
I mean, look, I spent all day in public. I was in Starbucks all day, touching handles. I mean, I was picking my eyes, and I had my finger in my nose a few times.
You wash your hands every once in a while, maybe?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Let me tell you.
No symptoms.
People are starting to panic, and this is the problem that I have. I don't know what is it about me and my personality. I think I might be in the majority, though, where we don't panic. It's like some people say, well, you never think it's going to happen to you until it does. But with these things, like, remember the bird flu and the SARS, all that stuff that came out, I never really panicked about it. As we're recording this podcast, look up on the screen. It's another story about coronavirus. It's everywhere. And now people are starting to hoard.
Sure they are.
You go to certain stores now to get bottled water or cleaning supplies, face masks, gone. Not that I ever had a need for a face mask before. But here's the thing from what I understand. Now, the flu and the coronavirus, kind of the same? I'm asking.
I'm not a doctor, but that's what I've heard. They're similar.
I know there are people who are more susceptible to flu. You don't want little kids getting, you don't want the elderly or people with chronic ailments, because that could be potentially fatal.
Sure. Yeah.
But the average, there's always exceptions, but the average healthy person, I think if you do contract the flu or the coronavirus, you're going to be miserable. You're going to suffer for a while, but you're probably going to survive it. I have never had the flu. Let me knock on wood. This is real wood, right? Not fake stuff.
I believe this is wood. I believe.
I have never had the flu. Knock on this, what we consider to be real wood. But I'm not in a panic stage yet. But here's what happens when everybody else panics, and I need to go to the grocery store because I need to get, I'm out of bottled water just for my regular consumption, and there's nothing there. That I'm starting to think, all right, what's going on here? And then because everybody starts hoarding everything else, we get into a panic, right?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not panicking yet.
I'm not either. But if you are having a difficult time finding face masks, which now the CDC says, please stop doing that, because the healthcare workers, the people that are in the trenches treating these sick people, there's not going to be any masks left for them. They're asking you, please stop doing that. There's a German word for everything, and there is one for hoarding items during time of widespread panic, which is happening thanks to the news media.
Gundelwagen.
It's called, hamster cough. Hamster cough.
Hamster cough?
It comes from the German verb hamstern, which means to panic buy.
How about that?
There is a connection to hamsters from that, which is to store food, and they store food in their cheeks to save.
Good eye, mate. You know what? My sister and my dad both sent me pictures today from grocery stores. My dad from a Costco, no water. My sister from a Target, no Clorox wipes.
Here's the thing, because Alan and the kids and your parents are getting ready to go on this RV trip. So
they just went to buy water.
Normal supplies for when you go on a camping or a week-long trip, you need things like bottled water. You need Clorox wipes and things like that. And now for regular people just wanting to go on vacation, everybody snatched them up.
We're not going to have to drink that gray water, are we?
Hell no. Hell no. We're going to figure that out. Now, one of the best ways to avoid the coronavirus, the flu, any colds, anything, is to simply stop touching your face.
Yes.
If you can somehow, now I've probably touched my face 500 times since we started this podcast tonight alone, but because it is easier said than done. But a study on face touching documented the alarming times we do it. Over the course of 1 hour, I just did it again because there's a hair in my face. People touch their face an average of 23 times in 1 hour.
Because most of this stuff is spread through airborne particles or from what I like to refer to from butt to hand to mouth.
That's a different disease.
Well, but your hand is always
it's always on everything.
It's always the thing that transfers all this.
Nearly
stuff.
half the touches are to eyes, nose, or mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm always touching my eyes. That's
yeah.
me.
Oh.
I don't know
You've
what
always
it
got
is
a finger dug in the side of your eye.
about me. I could be in a room. I could be in the middle of a stadium.
Yes.
If there is one speck of dust, one tiny piece of lint on the opposite side of that stadium in section 300 row double Z, and I could be down on
row
the floor
G,
seats.
Or seat G.
That speck of lint or dust or whatever will find its way into my eye.
And so will the little draft that's up there too.
What is wrong with me? So I've always got my hands in my eyes.
I've always said, you're my little orchid. You need optimum conditions.
But I've never had the flu. Knock this wood.
I haven't either.
You've never had it?
Never had it. I'm cast iron, babe.
We were meant for each
other. I
am
cast iron. Knock on wood.
So try to avoid touching your face and wash your hands a good amount, and you'll probably be all right. Keep that in mind, babe.
Can I just state the obvious here? The human race has made it through the bubonic plague, polio, the measles, scarlet fever, Ebola,
but that doesn't take
the
away
Marburg virus.
I get it.
All these awful, awful, awful things.
But it doesn't take away from the fact that people have died from all
that
those
kill
things.
You immediately in some cases.
Yeah.
And now we've got this coronavirus. Okay, there's been 11 deaths in the U.S., 3,000 worldwide or whatever. You having a good time there, babe? I
had to knock the rest of my buzzball out.
Would you like to? You want me to get you another drink?
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
One's good.
Okay. Look like you were really enjoying that.
I wanted every last drop. I'm listening the entire time.
Okay. No, I mean the human race has made it through all those nasty things, and here we are, and there's a bad flu going around, and everyone's buying every bottle of water in America.
We shouldn't be that flippant about it because it is very serious for
it
people
is
who are dealing with it.
I'm joking,
but stop panicking.
Yeah, let's just
because the panickers ruin it for the rest of us normal people that just want to stock up for an RV trip.
Right.
You know what else is happening this weekend? Everybody remember this. I'm going to remind you, and some of you are going to forget. It's daylight savings time this weekend.
Got to spring ahead.
Spring forward. You know what that means? Lose 1 hour of sleep.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people.
So people burn an extra hour.
So people are going to, let's see, if it springs forward, you'll show up early for everything, right?
Well, if
you
have
show
to
up early for everything when you spring forward. So if your alarm clock goes off and you forget to set it, and it's really 11 and it's 10, so you're gonna show up early for everything.
Okay.
Right?
I sure.
If you forget to set your alarm clock on Saturday night before you go to bed, so you forget to set it, that means the next morning it's 11 o'clock, but you wake up and you think it's 10 o'clock or whatever time you wake up. That means you would show up early for everything.
I suppose, yeah.
Right?
It's one way of looking at it.
So officially, it's daylight saving time, not daylight savings time, like I just said. But don't feel bad if you said savings like I did, because a lot of people, far more people, think it's savings time.
And who are we to just erase time and add time at a whim like that?
Apparently, it had to do with farming. It was agricultural. That's the reason. It was agriculture. And that's also why we have the school calendar the way we have it.
Well, then
that's why
they don't do it in Arizona. They don't do it in
certain states.
Indiana. Some pieces of Indiana. They don't do it in Hawaii.
Certain states opted out, but that's
see, that's what I mean. How can some states say, "Well, we're just going to erase time and add time"?
You have the state government and the national government,
and then you a-holes are going to just I don't know, just do your own thing. I don't get it.
Take it up with the governor. But that's why we have the school calendar we have too. And a lot of people are going to year-round school because we don't rely on the agricultural system and the farming system like we used to. Kids used to have to work the farms in the summer.
That's why they have summers off. It like 3 o'clock.
And look at me. I just put my finger in my mouth.
Yeah, sure you did.
And I do not have the coronavirus.
What's wrong with us just leaving it 3 o'clock for the whole year? Why do we have to move it up to 4 and then move it back to 2? I don't get it.
It's something about because the daylight for working the farms.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me, because I get the leap year, because the Earth really isn't 24 hours. It's 23 hours and 56 minutes.
Right, it corrects the clock or whatever.
Right, but just because we made up a rule for farmers, like adding an hour and then subtracting an hour. Because
of the way the Earth circles around the sun, because the way that the daylight is different. So they had to do that to adjust for the farmers.
Right, but it has nothing.
I would have to, I had a buzzball right now. I cannot think math.
What I'm saying is, it has nothing to do with math and science. It has everything to do with
But it is math and science.
We made up a rule.
But it is math and science, because it has to do with the daylight hours that the farmers had to use to work the land.
But it's not math and science, because before there was farming, they weren't screwing around with the clocks.
But it worked with astronomy, and astronomy is a science. They governed everything by the stars and the rising and setting of the sun. That is science and math.
If what you're saying is true, then they would just stop the Earth for an hour.
The calendars are math. Everything is math. Alan, are you serious?
No, I am serious. That doesn't make any sense. It's.
But I don't see how it doesn't make sense.
It's based on people saying, okay, this is better for farmers,
right?
So we're going to just set the clock ahead.
Well, people had to set everything,
set it behind.
People had to decide what time was, and had to set what time and calendars. People had to do that. People also had to do language.
Right.
That's based on people, but calendars and leap years and all that's based on science and math.
Agreed. But not just saying, okay, now it's not 3 o'clock anymore. Now it's 4 o'clock.
But
that's not science and math.
Why is it not?
Because it has nothing to do with the Earth revolving.
Yes, it does, because of the daylight that we have during the day and the amount of time, the sunlight.
Okay, so say there were dudes running around 50,000 years ago, and they were running around like Fred Flintstone, and they didn't do farming. They went out and killed mastodons and
they didn't have watches.
Woolly mammoths.
They didn't have watches.
The Earth was still spinning around the same way. It was still going around the sun 365 days.
But they didn't have the concepts of time at that point, right? Like, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock.
Right. You're not understanding.
You're
not understanding that daylight savings time is basically us just saying, you know what? Right now it's not 3 o'clock anymore. Now it's 4 o'clock.
Right, because of math.
How?
I don't know. I had a buzzball. Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
We'll figure that out another day.
There's nothing to figure out, because it's not based on science.
Then what is it based on?
Ben Franklin?
With math and
Wasn't
stuff.
he the a-hole that figured that out?
I don't know. Something about farming.
He was extremely
smart.
Lewd.
And smart.
Lewd.
Well, maybe there's a connection.
Read stories, listener, about Ben Franklin.
What stories?
When he was in France. That's all I'm going to say.
Is there a book? What's it called? Lewd Franklin?
Just read it.
Where am I going to Google the book about Ben Franklin in France?
Ben Franklin and those little tiny glasses, and those hose he was wearing, and that hairstyle he was rocking.
That's what everybody was wearing.
That's true.
Then.
That was the fashion choice. Those big old shoes with the buckles on them.
Did that have anything to do with math? What did Ben Franklin do in France? Was he like an ambassador?
Read about it.
Oh God, I don't have time.
Guy was
to
as
read.
lewd as the day is long.
I don't have time for anything. That's why I'm drinking Buzzball.
Was he a president?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just seeing if you knew that. Then why is he on the $100 bill?
He was very important in American history.
And he was lewd.
You know what? I think with a lot of powerful men, there is an element of lewdness.
Whoa!
I don't think that's really a misconception.
Whoa!
I think with a lot of powerful men.
Why don't you name some names?
I don't need to.
Like who?
Okay, Harvey Weinstein.
Whoa! Yeah.
Okay, was that? Oh, can't argue that.
What about Bezos?
With powerful men.
What about Bezos or Bezos?
I would have he's probably a little kinky. Let's be honest. If you had to assume.
No, I thought he had some stuff going on.
Like what? He left his wife for that woman that slept her way to the woman he ended up with that he left his wife for. She has successfully slept her way to almost the world's richest man. I don't know how you figured that out. Some women got it figured out, don't they? I figured it out. Though.
I don't know that that's something.
I figured it out.
I don't think that's something to look towards and look up to, is it?
I bet she's not happy, honey. I bet she's not happy. Not like me arguing about science and math.
Hey, he may be a multi-billionaire, but I'm a thousandaire.
That's right.
So I've got
touching your eye, you're going to get the coronavirus.
I just had something in my eye floating.
I know.
Maybe it's a coronavirus.
Maybe. You know, Alan and I run a lot of side hustles. We do. And eventually we just can't do it by ourselves. And we're really looking at the point where like, hey, we're going to have to hire some help. Well, who are we going to turn to? I'll tell you who we're going to turn to is ZipRecruiter. Because hiring used to be hard, but multiple job sites, stacks of resumes, a confusing review process. I've never been in charge of hiring before, and that's not my specialty. But today, hiring can be easy, and you only have to go to one place to get it done. That's ZipRecruiter.com/sandwich. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job sites. They don't stop there, though. They've got powerful matching technology. ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes. They'll find people with the right experience and invite those people to apply for your job. You can even add screening questions to your job listing. That helps you filter the candidates and focus on the very best ones. ZipRecruiter is so effective. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's incredible.
And right now, to try ZipRecruiter for free, our listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/sandwich. That's ZipRecruiter.com/sandwich. ZipRecruiter.com/sandwich. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Thanks, babe.
Love ZipRecruiter.
I do too. I love you too, even though you aggravate me.
I'm not trying to aggravate you.
I think sometimes you do it just to aggravate me.
Maybe not. Did you have anything else?
Well, it was very interesting today. I've had a long, like 3 days in a row. I'll tell you, it's been a lot. Alan and I and my daughter, EmmaKellyandMe.com. Monday, we had a big photo shoot.
Oh yeah, we did. We can talk about that.
We're getting a lot of stuff ready for the website, and that took up a big chunk of the day. Yesterday, Tuesday, we're recording this on Wednesday, March the 4th, even though you're getting it a little bit later. But on Tuesday, I had a lot of things on my plate. I had a lot of stuff to do with work. I had to go grab my daughter from school, take her to a doctor's appointment. And as I'm waiting for her in the carpool line, I showed up for carpool line like 10 or 15 minutes early, and I said, you know what? I have not had a chance to go through emails. I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of junk emails. I spend a majority of my time unsubscribing to emails I never signed up for. But unfortunately, a lot of important emails get buried because of that. So as I'm sitting in carpool line, I'd say it was about 3:45. I come across an email sent to me 24 hours prior reminding me of the event I had to be to Tuesday night, asking us to be there for a 5:30 p.m. sound check.
A sound check?
First of all, I forgot about the event.
Did you do a sound check?
I was late, but it was fine because I am a professional microphone talker.
Tara, that's a mess?
Anyway, so I, in a little bit of a panic, so I ended up going to this event, which was great. It's, I used to work a lot with the Elisa Project. Elisa was a girl who suffered from anorexia and passed away, died from that disease. And her parents decided to turn that horrible situation into something positive. And they started the Elisa Project, which worked with people who suffer with eating disorders. At this event last night, they've now become the Texas Eating Disorders Association, TEDA, Texas Eating Disorders Association. Mm-hmm. And I learned last night, I didn't realize this, that eating disorders are the most fatal of mental illnesses. I didn't know that.
Really?
That's what I was told last night. Among mental illnesses, eating disorders are the most fatalities.
That's surprising. I had
no idea either. But it would be surprising probably for a lot of people to know eating disorders come in all forms. You know, we're obsessed with, looking good and in our appearances and weight and the scale. And for a lot of people, it becomes more about how much you weigh, but it's more about a control issue. Mm-hmm. It's controlling what you put in your body control, when everything else is spiraling out of control around you, it's a control issue. So at the event that I was at, it was last night when we did it. It was kind of interesting because they asked me to fill in because I have a hard time saying no, as my husband can attest to. If people ask me and I do not have a legitimate excuse, I can't do it, I'll say yes. So anyway,
I told you to kick them all to me.
Well, what happened was it was a woman that I really admired, appreciate, and they were in a tough bind. Somebody they had counted on to be there ghosted on them and asked me if I'd fill in. Yes. So it's a seminar about eating disorders. I thought what it was really about was about proper nutrition and working with athletes. Well, that's not me. I'm not an athlete. My story is I dealt with an eating disorder. This is something you and I have never talked about, have we?
No, I don't think we have.
Haven't.
No. Now, you and I...
You were aware of it, right?
Well, you and I together have talked about it.
About my eating disorder?
Yes.
I don't even remember. See, here's my thing. I live so much of my life openly. I can't remember what I talk about on the radio, off the air, on the podcast, off the podcast. It's all a big blur. I can't remember what I say when because I say everything. But I didn't know what you and I talked about it. But anyway.
Okay, but anyway, you and I have talked about it.
So we're at the event last night, and from what the moderator said, they don't want to really go too deep with the eating disorder issue. I was like, that's kind of like my whole thing. I'm not an athlete. So I kind of probably, when she asked me a question, I probably went a little further than I should have. But it's been a long time since I had talked openly and publicly about my struggles with that. And at the end of the night, I had so many women come up to me, tears in their eyes, thanking me for sharing because, not everybody can listen to what I have to say 24/7, although I think everyone should. Just kidding. But they, sometimes they come to the show late or meet me late and they miss stuff. But I thought it was important. So today on the Kid Craddock Morning Show, I shared, I just kind of touched on it. I didn't go into great detail about it. But I think it is important for people to know because I think a lot of times there's so much shame in eating disorders. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really more prevalent than we realize. I started my spiral out of control probably in junior high. I would say that's probably when it was. I grew faster than the kids in my, I had I was tall early, but I was larger early. And I look back at pictures of myself now and I wasn't that big. I wasn't like obese or anything like that, but I was bigger than most of the girls in my grade. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really become aware of it too much until it was like PE class. And when I pray to God they don't do this today, hopefully somebody got some sense knocked into them. But they used to weigh and measure us in front of the entire class. And that's when all these other little girls around me are like, 65 pounds and 72 pounds and 68 pounds. And here comes Kelly. And I'm like 90 something pounds, whatever it was at the time. And it was so much greater than the other girls' weights. I was suddenly like, oh my gosh, I'm that big. And like little things like that, they do start working on your brain. Mm-hmm. And I started going on my first diet, counting calories with my mother, who was always counting calories.
How old were you when you were doing that?
Junior high school.
So and 12, 13?
Probably, yeah. And, because it was just like it was important to be thin, right? So I did everything. I did the grapefruit diet. I counted calories. That was mostly, I'd eat like for lunch a packet of cheese nabs and a Diet Pepsi. Another meal would be cottage cheese with sliced apples, but you had to count every calorie that went in your mouth. And then there was a diet program that came to town. Now, should I say the name of it now? I don't know. I don't want to lie. But it's evolved. The diet program I signed up for is still around. But it was one of the very first ones where you signed up and you buy this prepackaged food. And I was in 11th grade doing that program. And I remember I was looking around all my friends and they go to McDonald's and they'd eat French fries and cheeseburgers and I'm eating my little canned hamburger patty. And I felt angry and resentful, but I lost all this weight. I got really skinny. Mm-hmm. And then I had to go to the maintenance portion where it's the support groups. But I was so angry that all my friends got to eat and do whatever they want in my mind that on the way home from the support groups, I would stop by every fast food restaurant between my meeting, and my house. That'd be 3 or 4 fast food restaurants. And when I go through the drive-through, I'd order 1 to 2 meals at 3 or 4 different restaurants. And I would eat each one on the way home. So you can imagine by the time I got home, first of all, I had to stop by a gas station to throw all the trash away. So there was no evidence of what I had done. I could not stand up straight. I had eaten so much. I would be doubled over. I was in so much pain. So what you have to do, you have to purge to get rid of that.
And then you were probably you probably felt after you
Purged.
you were going to your meetings and you were trying to do the right thing, and then you would have a setback and go do all that. You probably made you feel really guilty too,
up and
right?
down, up and down, up and down. The anguish, the guilt, the control issue, but then that sense of relief and peace and calm you got after you purged. It was really a crazy, crazy ride. And the thing that I didn't get to talk about it last night. I didn't really talk about it on the radio today. But it's really interesting how other girls who were going through similar struggles, we all found each other. We all gravitated toward each other to the point where we would watch each other's back. Like you'd go to, everybody wanted to go get pizza buffet or something, and we'd all take turns watching the bathroom door to make sure nobody else would go in while the other one purged. It's really strange, right? And then as I got older, I remember one adult recognized in me that she saw I was having an issue, and she gave me Cherry Boone O'Neill. Is Pat Boone's daughter. Remember Pat Boone, the singer, with the white patent leather shoes and the white patent belts? Anyway, his daughter, Cherry Boone O'Neill, she suffered from anorexia, and she gave me that book that she wrote, her autobiography, thinking it would help me. Instead, I used it almost like as a manual to give me more tips because my mind wasn't prepared to receive that information, It was a huge struggle. I ballooned. I weighed everything from 200 plus pounds because there came to a point where I wouldn't even get on the scale anymore, down to the 130s. I was 5'9", 5'9.5". That was very thin for me.
Wow, you ranged quite a bit.
Up and down. Really,
and that's not good for your body. Your organs and internally, that's not good.
It's not good, and especially then the mental toll was worse, I think, than the physical for me. And I hit it really, really well. There were times where I think people, my parents, I think they knew, and they were so frightened. I think they didn't know how to deal with it. I remember one conversation I had with my mother where her hands were shaking. She was so nervous talking to me about it because she didn't know how to handle something like that. But I struggled with it for years and years and years. And I hit it pretty well. And sometimes I get a hold of it and I get it under control. And then stressful situations was what would trigger it for me. Because when everything feels like it's spiraling out of control, you have no control over the situation. And it gets really crazy. That's when this is just my experience. I don't know what it's like for other people who've struggled with bulimia or anorexia. But in my experience, that's when I would binge. I would eat to the point where I was so uncomfortable, I couldn't stand up straight, that I would purge, because that purging brought everything back down. It made everything calm. It's hard to explain to somebody who's never experienced that, but that's how you get control. And it's like, okay, now I was centered again. The only thing that stopped it for me was becoming a mother. It took me a long time to get pregnant. I remember reading studies about, because even, while I was in the midst of it, I was curious about what is this doing to my body? And I remember reading an article one time that said infertility was linked to eating disorders. And then, of course, when I'm going through my struggles to get pregnant, I was like, it's my fault, my bulimia, this is part of the problem. But when I had Emma Kelly, I was like, this is not the life I want to lead and the example I want to set for my daughter. Because I knew, even though as much as I tried to hide it, I was still finding other people who apparently were picking up on that.
So you're still struggling with this in your late 30s?
Yeah, I was struggling with it. And Alan, I'll be honest, I struggle with it sometimes to this day, because it's like I said, it's sort of like a recovering alcoholic. You can be sober 10, 20 years. And I think a recovering alcoholic would tell you the same thing, that you have to be constantly on your toes about it. that there's some times when it never crosses your mind, but there's some times when you're so tempted to go for that alcohol, or after especially a bulimic, I think it's hard because you're so tempted after you ate just a little bit too much. You're like, oh gosh, it'd be so easy to take care of this right now, and so you have to really fight against that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want that for my daughter. I didn't want to set that example for her. And plus all the negative self-talk that I used to do, I really worked on controlling that. I was really bad about complaining about my weight. I dated men in the past before my husband where they would go to reach and put their arms around me. I'm like, don't touch my stomach. That was the first thing out of my mouth. Don't touch my stomach. Don't look at me, and I really worked it hard. But I hope you've noticed that with you. I let you touch my jiggly parts sometimes. And it's uncomfortable for me sometimes. I'm not feeling my best. But I think your appreciation of my body has helped a lot in that area, that you celebrate certain parts of my jiggly body. That's helped a lot.
I never really thought about it.
You haven't, because see, that's the thing I try to tell women. I said, we're so hard on ourselves, and our husbands, our boyfriends, and our partners in life, they just love every inch of you, whether it's squishy or not. And they just want to love it and swish on it. And you've even told me you kind of like that I have a little bit extra meat on me, right? Something to kind of squish on and cuddle on.
I don't ever put a lot of thought to it, babe. I just see you as you,
It was my love for my daughter that helped me the most. And if you're struggling with this, I'm going to tell you what worked for me, having my daughter and wanting to set a good example and be there for her. But what I would find that is when I did overindulge, what is a celebration or whatever, if I could just have enough self-control to wait 1 minute, give it 1 minute instead of giving into that urge to purge, wait a minute. And if I could wait that 1 minute, now I wasn't always successful. Sometimes I would cave. Okay, but then you make that milestone, the 1 minute, and make it 2 minutes, make it 5 minutes. And I found if I could wait 20 or 30 minutes, enough that, you kind of get past that ridiculously awful feeling. And then you start to be like, okay, I can get through it. I can make it. I'm good. But that was the thing that worked for me, is just starting off in like, just give it a minute, give it a minute, give it a minute. That was very helpful to me. And also stopping with the negative self-talk. I think that also comes with age.
Stopping the negative self-talk?
Yeah, I think that comes with age.
Well,
when you start realizing, I think it's a lot of just looking back at pictures of myself when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I look at myself and I can mark milestones in my life by how much I weighed. I know how much I weighed when I graduated high school. I know how much I weighed when I got married the first time. I know how much I weighed. It's so ridiculous. I mark major milestones in life by how much you weighed. But I look back at times when I thought, oh man, I'm so heavy and I'm so fat or look good. I look at pictures of myself. I'm like, I was so cute. What was I thinking? I was so cute. But you get more accepting of yourself as you get older. I think a lot of those things do naturally kind of work themselves out. But I don't know. I've heard from people that said just sharing my story was helpful to them. And I have not shared that in many, many years. I shared it a long time ago. The first time when I worked with Kid Craddock, the host of the Kid Craddock morning show, who passed away, it'll be 7 years ago this summer, one of the requirements he had of us being on his show was to be completely honest. And the first time I shared about my struggle, I remember how hard it was that first time I told my story. I was so embarrassed. I thought people were going to judge me. It was going to be so embarrassing. But the amount of love and the outpouring of people who were like, oh my gosh, you shared that story and I'm not alone. I had somebody just tell me today that they heard me share my story many years ago about how I stopped the negative self-talk for my daughter, and that made her stop the negative self-talk with her daughter, and that she credits me for that. Mm-hmm. So by sharing our stories, that's how we find strength.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
And I know there are eating disorder problems with men. It's not as prevalent, I don't think, and I don't know why, but I don't know that men are as willing to talk about things as women are when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, babe, about men's eating disorders. I mean, I've shared some stuff too on the podcast, and I think it is, like all that stuff you just shared, I think it is very important and very helpful for a lot of people, probably a lot more people than you think.
I think it's incredibly prevalent that
I mean,
we don't, and to different degrees, to different degrees.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like, Kelly talking about the negative self-talk. And that's something that I've kind of noticed about, Kelly, since I've known her, is she's hard on herself. And I am very, very, very hard on myself, but inside, so when I hear her verbalize those things,
because I share everything.
Yeah,
that's part of my personality.
It makes me sad because I've always been that way with myself, and that's always led to a lot of problems that I've had. But I always try to tell her, gosh, I don't think you should say that about yourself.
I think you should have known me 15, 20 years ago.
I don't think you should feel that way about yourself. But
I know. You should have seen me 15, 20 years ago.
I know.
You'd see how far I've come.
But I guess I'm just saying.
We all have moments where we're not perfect all the time.
No.
And I work on it. I really work on it, especially not to say things like that in front of my daughter. That's the thing. I don't want her
I'm just saying,
to repeat that cycle.
I understand that type of psychology against yourself. Yeah. It's taken me about my whole life to start figuring this out.
Right. It comes to you later in life, almost, you kind of wish I figured it out earlier, but I don't want to say I figured it out 100%. I still struggle at certain things, and I still
but it can
need to be kinder.
But so you've talked about your experience with an eating disorder. I've talked about my experience with depression. Other people may have problems with alcohol, or may have problems with whatever kind of addiction or vice that they have. The central issue, it seems to me sometimes, is that you have a problem, and then you keep going back to this problem, and then you say to yourself, well, I'm such an idiot, or I'm so weak, or I'm so stupid, or look at me, I'm just dumb because I can't not do this.
Right.
You're weak. Right. And that negative self-talk to yourself gets you in this loop of doing more of that bad activity, because now you feel even worse about yourself. Your esteem's even lower than it was before.
Right.
Because your viewpoint of yourself is what affects you more than anything else, is what I've learned.
Right.
Is what I've learned. You have all the people that love you and like you in the world. You have all the money in the world, all the material things in the world. But if you don't love yourself and you don't have a positive viewpoint of what you look like, you're going to keep doing those bad things, because those bad things make you feel better.
It's true, because, sometimes when you're in such a good place and you're in such a positive place, we all go through ebbs and flows in life. And when you're in such that positive space and you're like, my shit don't stink and I'm so great, anybody can say something negative to you and you'd be like, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me. But that same person can say that same thing to you when you're in a downward spiral and a downward turn. It just rocks your world. So it really is mostly about you.
It is.
How you feel about you, whether it's good or bad, what other people think or say or feel affects you.
And that's a lot easier said than done. I mean, I don't got it figured out. I've been working on this my whole adult life, and I'm still working on it. But I totally understand. I mean, I've never had an eating disorder, but I understand where Kelly's coming from when she said, I had this problem. It made me feel guilty. It's taken me my whole life to get through it. I'm down on myself a lot. I get that. I get that.
And the thing about bulimia is it's so unattractive. It's embarrassing because, I feel like when you share that story, people immediately visualize you purging. It's not an attractive thing, but I think it's important to share. So, feel free if you want to reach out to me. My story is not unique. My story is my story. Your story is your story. I think there's probably a lot of commonalities with a lot of people who are listening today. I'm very happy if you want to reach out to me. Feel free to do that. I'd love to hear your story. And we have kellyandalan.com. And you can email us there.
Podcast at kellyandalan.com.
Is that the email address? Podcast. That's the email
at Kelly.
Podcast at kellyandalan.com. I've been Alan will forward. I don't know how to check the emails, I'll be honest, but he forwards the ones that are addressed to me. And I would love to hear your story.
Yeah.
And share that, and also get help if you need it, because like I said, the Texas Eating Disorders Association has a lot of great programs and doing good work. So anyway,
I think thanks for sharing all that. I think it's a common thing because
It's very
I've known several ladies in my life that have had that same issue.
Obsessive to different degrees, right?
Yeah, and I've known them.
Yeah. Well, on to lighter subjects. Let's transition before we do. You know how much I love my dog, Larry. I love him.
Larry.
Alan is a little aggravated. I'll be honest, Larry aggravated me today. I was trying to take a nap. I had like this 40-minute window I could catch a real quick cat nap.
Larry's okay.
And then he started barking at someone that came outside and woke me up. I was so mad at that dog. I was so mad at him, but I still love him.
The only thing I ask is that he doesn't poop in the house.
I know.
Because I don't go poop in his crate.
But I want Larry to be happy. And I'll tell you what makes Larry so stinking happy is mealtime because we've got Ollie. I have never seen, honest to God, Alan, have you ever seen Alan more happy than when it's mealtime with Ollie?
Well, it's Larry, but...
Oh, what'd I say?
You said Alan. But
oh,
that's
Alan,
okay.
have you ever seen
I mean, I'm happy at
Ollie?
mealtime. I'm happy at mealtime, too. But when
Alan,
Larry...
have you ever seen
when
Ollie?
Larry eats
Larry.
the Ollie, he scarfs it down.
It's something like you've never seen before.
Oh,
Ollie,
it's like he's never eaten before.
You know, I love subscription services, and this is what Ollie is. But Ollie puts dogs first, vet-formulated recipes. They are so transparent with all the ingredients. They want your dogs to be as healthy as possible because if they're getting healthy nutrition, I'm gonna tell you in the long run, that's going to help them with, you know, issues that might save you a lot of vet bills in the future. I'm being honest. But Ollie makes fresh meals for dogs, real ingredients. Honestly, people could eat them. I mean, it's all natural stuff in there. I'm personally not going to try that and test that theory, but look at it as like regular food. It delivers them to you on a regular schedule. They beat out store-bought food, dog food, at a 10-to-1 on the palatability scale. Because they create customized vet-formulated recipes made with all natural ingredients, there are no preservatives. They are sourced from U.S. family farms. So you get your packages of the little pre-serving food, keep them in the freezer. That's what keeps them fresh. You take out what you need, thaw it out, feed the dog, then go get your next frozen meat pack because it's always fresh. So you can go to myollie.com, answer just a few questions about your dog. They'll customize recipes for your dog's taste, for your dog's weight and size with pre-proportioned meals. So your pup gets the perfect portion every time. So far, Ollie has delivered 5 million meals and counting. Shipping is free. And if your dog doesn't like the meals, they have a money-back guarantee. But I'm going to tell you, Larry loves Ollie. It's a very happy experience at Evans Manor at mealtime.
And Ollie is offering our listeners 50% off your first box, plus a free bag of treats at myollie.com I'm sorry, let me redo that. At myollie.com/try/Lovin. Okay? That's what it says right here.
That's a new address. That's
okay.
Different.
This is the best deal they have available anywhere. Go to myollie.com/try/Lovin, Lovin, for 50% off plus a free bag of treats.
You might want to say that address one more time.
Well, I will say it one more time.
Yeah, that's a different one.
It is spelled myollie.com/try/Lovin, Lovin.
Hey, email us if you forget that. Because that's myollie.com/try/Lovin.
That's 4 times.
Really, really do love that, though. Our dog couldn't be happier.
Okay, let's get all this straight though. Hashtag ads over. But Ollie's the dog food. Alan's your husband.
That's a lot to keep
and
straight.
Larry's your dog.
That's a lot to keep straight after a buzzball.
Okay.
You got to be honest about that.
We have a letter from Ashley. She is from the great state of Missouri.
It's Missouri. They told you that 2 podcasts ago.
She says it is definitely pronounced Missouri.
And now she's reiterating.
Not Missouri. Also, a few other fun city names we have because we shared the most lewd sounding city in all 50 states. Check this out.
Sugar Tit, South Carolina.
Whoa.
Wasn't that it?
Yeah.
That's the one I remember because I'm from South Carolina.
Yeah. And there was, Cooter, Missouri. Okay, here's some other ones in Missouri. Sarcoxy, Blue Eye, Knoblick, Tightwad, Braggadocio, Neck City, These are real city names in Missouri. Licking. Festus.
Festus was a character on Gunsmoke.
He was. Koshkonong. Huh. Mindenmines. Some of these I can't pronounce. Mindenmines. Fair Play. Duquesne. Humansville. Frona. And its neighbors Dresden, Patesdorf, Altenburg, Seelitz, Johannesburg, and
Wittenberg.
Wittenberg.
I think because of all the settlers that come in from, when the immigrants came to our country, some of those sound like very German, right?
Good eye, mate. Tecumseh, that's it. That's Native American. McFall, Orongo, and Orinoco, and Tallapoosa. How about that? Well, thanks, Ashley. I hope you enjoy this list. I like listening to us, Andersons and Lovin. You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, settlers. You could name it whatever you wanted when you came, right? When you started staking your claim. This is my city. I'm going to name it Kellyville.
The Show Me State. Missouri.
Show me what? No, I don't understand.
I thought people in Missouri were skeptical.
Yeah. But how does an entire state of people get labeled skeptical?
Well, how does an entire state of people get labeled that they wear cowboy hats and ride horses to work?
Because that's
what everyone in Canada
they were
thinks.
Ranchers at the time.
Okay, here's another letter. This one's from Leah. She says, "Hello, Kelly and Alan. Love your podcast. You always make me laugh. I've been married 12 years in May, and my husband just turned 36 on Valentine's. He drastically changed his diet and started working out for the first time since we've been married last month. I was surprised, but it gave me the push to do the same. We have 2 daughters, 6 and 9, and we spend a lot of family time together. We always have family meals together at the table. We can't even get our daughters out of our bathroom, and we spend a lot of time with his family instead of my own, so we are very close. He has started going out with friends. He says he stays out until 2:30 in the morning. He says he's going out with friends. He has told me not to ask him questions or talk about our relationship.
Oh, no.
He will not tell me he loves me or touch me.
This isn't good.
This is not my husband. Every day wasn't perfect, but I always felt lucky and loved, and I knew we would grow old together. I don't even know who the man is I'm married to now. It sounds like he is cheating, even though he promises he isn't, but would a cheater actually confess?
Mm-mm.
I've stayed home with our girls, and I've tried to be supportive, but the emotional toll it is taking on me is unbearable. I have never felt so sad and lonely.
I'm sorry.
My mother has told me divorce is worse than death, and I believe her. I want our marriage to work. He told me it isn't me, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going through the crisis, but I don't want to be stupid. I'm planning on going out of town for part of spring break, and if he isn't better by the time I return, I'm going to ask him to leave. This all breaks my heart, but I can't live like this. My question is about the fact that he said he is in a crisis he really doesn't understand. Advice? I want to be married, but not like this. Thanks for always cheering me up."
Well, I don't know if we're going to cheer you up after this one. I would not live that life. That's a miserable, miserable way to live your life. Somebody can go through a crisis, and people act out their midlife crises in different crises. Is that plural? In different ways. But you're going to have to stop being a passive participant in this relationship, and you're going to have to start commanding and demanding the respect as a wife and a mother to his children. So if this would, what would you expect if you were the man? What would you suggest she do? Because you are a man, but what would you suggest in this situation?
I am a man.
Yes.
I'm not Ollie, and I'm not Larry.
No.
Well, seriously, so nothing happens, Leia. Good at 2:30 in the morning when you're out drinking.
He's courting danger if he has not already crossed that line.
Yeah, with Lord knows who. That's not good. And once a man has made the decision to do things like that, so you have children, it's one thing, I guess, if say I went out and I was out with a bunch of friends that and we're having some kind of party.
It's one time.
And it's one time, and it's still, that wouldn't be too cool if I stayed out till 2:30 in the morning.
Hopefully, I mean, I think you'd be defensive if I got mad at you, but I think ultimately you would feel bad about it and apologize.
Yeah,
I would hope.
Yeah. Now, if this guy is married with children, he's saying, "Hey,
acting a fool.
I'm staying out till 2:30 in the morning. I'm not going to tell you really what I'm doing. I'm having a crisis."
What he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be married. That's when a man does that kind of thing, he can't just say, "I don't want to be married,"
because then he's the bad guy.
Right.
So what he's going to do, and I'm going to tell you, and I don't know your husband, I don't know you, but I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. He's going to make your life so miserable that you choose to leave him. And that way he can say, she left me. That he's not the bad guy because you were the one that decided to leave. What do you think?
Well, I think there are men that feel that way. That
there's a lot.
It wasn't me, but then there are probably men too that are like, "Oh, that's a relief. I'm glad that."
Yeah, but they won't be the one to leave.
Yeah, well,
they are so horrible.
He's probably like, "Well, I'm glad that happened too." You know?
Yeah, but he's not got man enough to say, "Hey, I'm not happy, so I'm just going to make her miserable until she leaves me because I'm not leaving her, and then I'm not the bad guy."
Right.
So he's not acting like, and women too. Women go through things where I remember when my mother turned 40, and she just sobbed because she was going through that midlife. Oh my gosh, this is probably, if I live to be 80, I'll be lucky. My life's half over. She didn't start running around acting the fool. But people act differently when they hit that point in life, and that sounds like what your husband's done.
She's asking for help, though. Here's what I would do, Leah. I would, if I were in your shoes, I would just go to him straight up in nice language and say, "Look,
nice but firm.
Yeah, I know you're going out. I know you're probably doing things that, and I don't even want to know all the details, but you're staying out till 2:30 in the morning. You're out drinking. We have 2 girls. Number one, I don't think that this is a good example. Number two,
it's not fair to me.
It's not fair to me, and I want to be married. You obviously do not want to be married. So can you just tell me what's going on? Do you or do you not want to be committed and be in this relationship?"
And he's going to say what?
If you don't, then that's fine. You can go keep doing all that stuff, but you're not going to do it in this household.
Right.
Me and the girls are going to go do something else.
Right.
And if you want to be a bachelor and stay out till 2:30 in the morning and drink, then that's fine, but it's not going to be
bringing it home
right.
Here.
It's not going to be in this situation.
You've got to stand up for yourself and command and demand the respect that you deserve in that relationship. Because as long as you keep being the passive person, he's getting away with it. Look how long he's gotten away with it so far. With the only consequences he has to deal with is a pouty wife.
The crisis that he speaks of, that's a man's confusion. It's the confusion of, well, I have a family at home, and I really should be at home, and I really should be, just right there with my wife, and my kids are there and everything, versus this playboy lifestyle that he's kind of developed now, where he's out drinking, he's getting attention from God knows who,
the crisis.
And it's all feeling good, and he's feeling strong, and he's feeling whatever. That's the crisis. That's when a guy says that. That's the crisis he's having. He's being pulled 2 different directions when he really should just be paying attention to the one direction. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am sorry. I hate that for you, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're not the first one that's been through that. And I'm sorry, but you've got to stand up for yourself, and you've got to find the strength to do it for you and for your children, because they are going to look to you as the strong mother that you are one day, and they'll know the truth. They'll figure it out. I'm sorry you have to go through that, but thanks for sharing that with us, and let us know what you decide to do. And on that note, I hate to really change the subject, but I get a lot of compliments, especially lately. It's been really strange about my skin. Have you noticed that, Alan? A lot of things that I'm trying to think, like, what?
No, you've gotten a lot of great compliments on your skin. Your skin's like porcelain.
That's what I just said. I've been getting a lot of compliments. You just said no. Yes. Yes, I've been getting a lot of compliments. And I think, it's a lot of variety of things, but I think one of the big things that I've done is I've been using this BioClarity skincare line. It's a clean green skincare brand that helps you put your best face forward. Now, here's the thing. Change of seasons can wreak havoc on your skin. You're going from extreme cold weather to moving into the warm weather. You can start noticing, your dry patches, breakouts where you haven't had issues for a while. this is where you need to check out BioClarity. Take their online skin quiz. That's what you need to do. And you'll get the best value and best results with one of 5 curated skincare bundles that are fit for your skincare goals. You'll have clean ingredients, a simple routine, like 3 steps, boom, 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 done, and consistent results for clearer skin, smooth and softer feel. Plus, BioClarity has Floralux. It's a super special ingredient. It's made from the chlorophyll that's found in plants to give them that rich, beautiful, green lusciousness. That's the lusciousness you're putting in your skin. It's skin superfood to block the culprits like bad bacteria and giving new life to your skin. And plus, there's a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee, which is really, really special. Now, like I said, there are 5 different, once you take the quiz, you'll find out the essential routine, the ultra calming routine, clean skin routine, ultimate clear skin, and clear skin routine. So you just have to take the quiz and you'll find out for yourself which one works for you. But give BioClarity a try. I think you'll really be happy with the results.
Okay, and right now, our listeners save 15% off everything on their website. That's an incredible deal, but you need to enter our code SANDWICH at checkout. Go to bioclarity.com and get 15% off everything on their website when you use our code SANDWICH at checkout. SANDWICH, and that's bioclarity.com. 15% off. Use that code SANDWICH.
At checkout.
Yep.
This has been an all over the place podcast. Alan and I
they normally are, babe.
Alan and I are still, at odds over this whole math science involving Time Change Sunday. But remember, it is Time Change Sunday this weekend. Spring forward, people. Enjoy. No, you won't enjoy that extra hour. Go to bed an hour earlier because you're losing an hour of sleep.
Yeah, because we're just arbitrarily deciding to move the big hand on the
reason
clock.
At all.
All the way around.
There's no reason at all.
There isn't.
Just somebody let's just screw with them. Let's change the clock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, don't they grow vegetables in warehouses now?
They do. They're all full of hormones and stuff. That's why we're all 17. Before
that's a bit of an exaggeration.
Well,
we're
getting bigger and bigger.
Tall.
You go to Washington, D.C., and you tour those old homes, those old historic homes, and see all that tiny people furniture.
It's a love and
That
affection.
was only a couple hundred years ago. We're giants now.
Maybe you're right.
Fun things are put in our food.
Everything,
what are they feeding us?
Everything's 10 foot. Speaking of 10 foot, I saw Bad Influence yesterday. I had happy hour. You never asked me anything about it.
Why didn't I ask you? What was
I don't know.
What was I doing that made me not ask?
No idea.
Oh, I had that eating disorders thing. That's
I know, but then you came home and you're in
I came home and I was in a foul mood
I've ever seen.
Because I had a lot of work stuff to do and I was exhausted.
Yeah, so I just went to bed.
How was Jeff?
It was good. He got me caught up on his love life and it was very interesting.
Did you ask him about going on the family vacation?
Yes.
Is he going?
He said his quote was, quote, I'm 85% sure that I'm
What
going.
does that mean?
That's what I said. I said, well, that tells me you're 15% sure
that
you're
means he's not going.
No, he says, no, I am. I said, well,
then what's 85?
I said, well, then call Judy. He goes, I will. And I said, well, what are you waiting on? I said, the deadline was March 1st. He's like, for me, the deadline was March 1st? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, the deadline is not March 1st for anybody.
To put the deposit down.
But no, if people haven't put the deposit down, they might not even contact Judy to say if it's a possibility.
All I know is you better act fast because you may not get a palapa and you may not get a good facing room. You may be facing a tree instead of the ocean.
Are we going to give them all hats?
You got to book through Judy to get a hat. You got to book through
That's
Judy.
The incentive?
Well, no, there's a lot of other incentives, but you got to book through Judy to be part of the group.
Well, to be part of our group, listen, we're going to Valentin Imperial. It's just 30 minutes from the Cancun International Airport. Hotel to airport and back again, whatever transfers is included with the package Judy came up with. It's an all-inclusive, all-adult resort. We love Valentin Imperial. We chose, Alan and I decided to go back again, and we love our podcast family so much. We're like, let's invite him to go with us. And we're not making any money off of it. It's just something we want to do to have a good time with all of you. So if you can go the trip this year, July 7th through the 11th, you could stay a little longer, come a little earlier. Alan and I think are actually going in on the 6th. We haven't booked our flights yet, but we've got to get that done.
I want to go in as early as possible and leave as late as possible.
Okay, well, we need to get the
I want to be
booked.
there for the longest time we can.
Well, we need to get that booked. We're dragging our feet too. But go to kellyandallen.com/vacation. There's a form there, and it'll at least, get you the information. Judy, of course, would love to get that deposit from you just to hold your spot. It's $100 to hold your place. The deadline was March 1st, but I bet she's willing to take a few more if you're really, really nice.
Just tell her you know Kelly and Alan. Just
Tell
say,
her
hey,
you
I
know
know
us.
Kelly and Alan. We're like,
Say, I'm a longtime friend.
We're homies.
They said it wasn't too late.
They said just, yeah. They said it's good.
KellyandAllen.com. It's KELLIE. Allen is ALLEN. KellyandAllen.com/travel. To email us, it's podcast@KellyandAllen.com.
Okay, I'm going to say a word. We'll finish it. We'll bring it home for Jerome. I'm going to say a word. You tell me the first word that pops in, the first thing that pops in your head.
Clear my mind.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Larry.
Evans.
Ollie.
Oxford.
Alan.
Evans.
Okay. All right.
What was I supposed to say?
That was good. The first thing that pops in your head. You went Larry Evans, Ollie Oxford, and Alan Evans.
What does that say about my personality?
It says you need.
You know what it said? I had a buzz ball.
It says you need to have another buzz ball.
No, no more buzz ball for me. One's enough, and I'm going to bed.
All right, babe.
But it was a good one. I had the chocolate teas. Chalk teas.
Whoa.
Good.
Well,
stuff.
This was good.
Love you.
Thanks for podcasting in. Love you desperately.
Thank you all for hanging out with us for the podcast.
Love our listeners desperately. I'm going to be on spring break next week.
Yep.
So this is my last podcast, but we've recorded some podcasts for next week.
Right, because we've got some vacation issues. Here's my thing. Alan doesn't think this is a good idea. Give me your feedback, podcast family.
What are you talking about?
I want to ask their opinion on something.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm going to ask your opinion. While Alan's gone, I'm going to be hanging out with a group of girlfriends, maybe doing like a little lady slumber party. And I suggested to Alan that we do a podcast. And he thinks that is the most awful idea.
I think it's fine if you're into lots of shrieking, screaming, and lots of drunk talk. I think it's fine if that's what you're into. But hey, that's kind of what they hear on the regular podcast. Screaming, shrieking, and drunk talk. So, hey.
I'm not drunk. I'm a little buzzed. But I don't know if we're going to do that. Because I don't know how to turn on the recording equipment.
Hey,
honestly.
it's up to you. You know who our sponsors are.
But I don't know how to turn on the recording equipment. You have to show me how everything works.
No. May 9th, I am peace, my brother.
Hey.
I'm going to be off the grid. Any tech support's going to go to ED or stop talking. You're going to have to call those guys. Because this guy, I'm going to be roasting marshmallows, eating Vienna sausages, cooking.
You're not going to be
cooking ramen.
You're not going to be using Clorox wipes or drinking bottled water because there's none left on the shelf.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be roasting weenies over a little match light hibachi.
You got a hibachi?
We'll go buy one. We'll Smoky Joe.
Oh, God.
All right, babe. Well, I'm sure we'll podcast again real soon.
Or in a couple weeks.
And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, so there goes EK, life is good when you have a good sandwich.
Bye. All right, let me see what my daughter wants.
Probably food.
Probably. She came out of a dungeon.
It's like an Amadeus, Mozart's dad. He only came out when it was time to eat. All right, guys. Sid, you can always have the endorsements afterwards. Whew. Did you guys notice we did 4 ads in that one? Holy moly. They are piling on those ads. I mean, I guess I can't complain about that, but that's a lot of ads. Even I think that's a lot of ads. Now they marked me. Like, oh, sure, just do 4 ads. Don't worry about it. It's like, guys, you don't understand. You gotta space those things out a little bit. All right, hold on, guys. I know you can see me. What are you talking about in there? New file upload. Roadcast Road Podcasts. Pod 18. Open upload. There we go, guys. Okay. What do y'all think? Think Kelly and I recorded one at the studio yesterday. Yeah, we recorded one yesterday. It's a pretty good one, I think. And we're going to play that one on Tuesday because I'll be gone. I'm leaving Monday. So, night, Julie. So, Sandy, you ought to just go. If you're going to pay for somebody's deposit, just have somebody fill in at work. Just come for 3 or 4 days. We have some people coming for just a couple of days. There's a couple of single ladies coming for just a couple of days. Our friend Laura, she's single. She's coming for a couple of days. Let's see if this is done. Oh, you can't go? Why? You got family stuff or something? All right. Guess we'll let it slide. Holy moly. Mushroom. All right, guys. I'm tired. You guys tired? Whew. You know what I haven't done in a long time? Here, hold on. I just get this thing down just for fun. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? The Rainbow Connection. Lovers. I don't know that song. Shit. Obviously out of practice. Reminds me. Now what? Let's see here. Hmm. Babe, we should sing this one sometime. Oh. Rolling down the mountain, racing down the road. Go, babe. Holding my lover with the other. The sweet song southern brew. Go, babe. Work hard all week. Got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better. I'm together. My Dixie land. Go, babe. Spend my dollar. Walking home tonight. Over time. With a little woman. Talking about the next and Dixon night. It's time for summer. My Dixie land tonight. Dun 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 dun. Spend my dollars. I know. What happened? I wonder if that's related to that other problem you were having. White down beer, country road, gonna give me a All right, guys. Have a good night.